right, so when it comes to budget shotguns, not everybody's into those Tokarev, those Benelli M4 clones. This is the Tokarev TTF 12, also known as the T300 budget Turkish shotgun. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Big Ball Holding Company, and yeah, you guys got me with the shotgun bug. Ever since I got that Chinese shotgun, the JTS, I've been out here just burning through boxes and boxes and boxes of shotgun shells. Something that I burned through more shotgun shells probably in the last couple of weeks than I burned through in my entire life. And like I said in the intro, I'm not into those M4 clones. I don't like them. I mean, I don't like the look of the M4 shotgun. I know, it's proven itself in the military use, but for me, if I was going to buy that specific shotgun, it was going to be a real deal Benelli M4 because, that's what I'm looking for. But when it comes to shotguns, like I said, I'm a budget guy and I just didn't want to spend a lot of money. I do have plans now after spending so much time with these shotguns to buy myself. I think I've already settled on buying myself a Mossberg 940 SPX tactical, just because it's a higher grade proven shotgun. And not that I have anything against these guns that I bought so far, but at the end of the day, I want something that's going to be super reliable. And as we know, with these Turkish shotguns, you tend to run into reliability issues with the low velocity ammunition, right? So had good results with the Chinese one, but when it didn't want to run semi-automatic, I just put it in the pump and didn't have any issues with it. But this is a different beast right here because this is a fully semi-automatic shotgun that sort of resembles or sort of is patterned, I guess, after the Beretta A300. Features wise, it has a decent amount of features. Did not come with this shotgun card. I put that on. Decent butt stock, but it has the the single point like sling mount back here, or the little clip-on sling mount back here. Don't like that. Probably going to swap that out. Not probably. I am going to swap that out with an M-lock. Oh, no, sorry, with a QD mount attachment. You have M-lock here, and M-lock on the other side for your accessories. This gun actually comes in, it says 5+1. I already replaced out the shorter magazine tube with this magazine tube, which is a +2. And I'll just get into it real quick because this is probably going to be a shorter video, not as detailed as the Chinese version. When I got the gun, what I realized was that for 2 3/4 shells, with the +1 on it, the magazine itself was 4, and then the +1 was 5. So when I switched out the +1 and I put this +2 on, the gun itself would hold only 6 rounds. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Why would it only hold 6 rounds? I thought it was a 7-shot shotgun, like some of the other shotguns that are out there, and it wasn't, but I fixed it. So the way that I fixed that was I took the gun apart. When you take off the magazine tube, pulled out the spring, pulled out the plug on one end, and pulled out the follower on the other end. And actually before I did that, I tried to load the gun with 7 rounds, and only like the last little bit of a low brass shell wouldn't lock in. So I pulled the gun apart. Then I pulled the gun apart and found out that pretty much the plug itself on this end and the follower on this end were about, I don't know, an inch and a half in length. I shortened them down by a ½ inch each, and the gun now holds 7 rounds. Short story. If you have one of these, you want to figure out how to make it run 7 rounds, that's how you do it. Just shorten the plug and shorten the follower, and you'll get that last round in there. Features wise, it comes with this very decent peep sight on the back, which I think because they make this in different form factors, this whole rail, as you can see, is slid onto a dovetail mount, and then it's bolted in with a bolt back here that keeps it from sliding out. I will say this because this is not the first time I shot the gun. I actually had it out and I had to put it away because that bolt backed out on my first range day, and I tried to put it back in, and it was very shallowly tightened down, like shallow into the threads themselves. And I stripped off the threads by accident, just twisted it too hard and stripped them off. So aluminum, I think this is probably aluminum receiver because it was just so soft to strip them out. And fortunately, since it only stripped off like 2 or 3 threads, I just got a longer bolt and ran it down in, and it fixed it. Blue Loctite it and got it done. As you can see, it comes with a heat shield. It comes with, again, this decently textured foregrip with the M-locks on it. Again, I, off the bat, replaced the +1 with a +2 to make this full capacity for me. Comes with a heat shield on it, and also comes with this pretty decent fiber optic front sight. Like I was saying, it has a very decent, you can't probably, I know I can't, you can't see it, but it has, I say maybe I can. It has a decent ghost ring sight on it, which is adjustable for both elevation and windage. So got enough adjustability there to make this gun pretty accurate. It is a choked gun. It comes with, I think this is just a regular cylinder bore choke inside of the gun when you get it. And it came with 2 chokes, whereas the Chinese, the JTS, came with 3 chokes. And I think this said that these were Benelli style chokes, if I'm not mistaken, in the manual. Features wise, as you can see, it doesn't have one of those super, knobby bolt charging handles. This charging handle is a little bit loose. And I think right off the bat, when I saw this gun out of the box, the charging handle itself kind of got me because it does snap in. And it was a little bit hard to get in. I don't know if you can see that. It was a little bit hard to get in because for some reason, when the bolt is pulled fully back, this charging handle and the little mechanism that it locks into will align with a little notch, and you can pull it out to take the gun apart. Well, of course, it had a plug in it, and it was forward, so I couldn't get it in. And then I was like struggling to get it in, got it in eventually, and I don't think it will come out because when it's in and it's in the bolt forward position, that little notch is not aligned, so it won't allow it to come out. Like some people have complained about the Turkish shotguns, so that should be good. Also comes with, on both the +1 and +2, a sling mount. Like I said, I don't plan on using this. And I also added the accessory magazine barrel clamp. This one that I put on, cheap Amazon, like 15 bucks, comes with an M-lock on one side and a 1913 rail on the other side for your accessory. So if you're looking for, a tactical shotgun, comparing this, like I said, I was just about to pull the trigger on a Mossberg 940 XSP. I didn't really want the Benelli, or not the Benelli, I didn't want the Beretta because I don't really like that Benelli style action or loading where you got to hit that little switch to drop a shell. I don't like that. I like the simple, just pull it back and get it to go type of loading. That's why I was going to go with the Mossberg. Plus the Mossberg has all the M-lock rails and stuff, or actually all the QD points on it, and it just fit the bill for me. Already has a plate system for an optic, and if you don't want to run the plate system, you can run the peep sight. So this one was close to that. Like, I mean, I know it's like A300 format, but it was close to what I was looking for in a gun. Running it wise, like I said, I had to cut the range days short because I didn't have to. I just did because I was kind of pissed that I stripped off that bolt and I was like, range day over. But I will say that did a little bit of shooting with it. It was a brand new gun, and initial expectations were a little bit disappointing. Like, it wouldn't run some of the ammo that I was running. But that's the point of me figuring out what's going on with this gun. So real quick, I just wanted to insert something really quickly. If you want to watch this video from this point forward, I already figured out why the gun wasn't running reliably. When I added the +2, it did not come with an extra power spring and was causing feeding issues. So plus power spring on the way. I'll reshoot the video showing the reliability if it works later. It is a Turkish shotgun, and we already know Turkish shotguns, except for my hot sign, are notorious for not letting them run anything but heavy loads, right? So when I found out that if you plan on buying a semi-automatic shotgun, I know it's great if you can find one that'll run some very inexpensive clay or bird loads because they're so super cheap, like like 30 cents a round, versus running some heavier buckshot, which is like $16 a box versus like $7 or $8 a box. It's very tempting to want to get this and just go out and do a lot of shooting on range, but Turkish shotguns won't run it all. And that's why I was like, maybe I'll just go with a more expensive one like the Mossberg. It seems to, in the videos, runs everything, and I don't have to worry about the finickiness of the ammunition. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some ammunition today with this gun. Like I said, it is still relatively brand new. I ran, just for with transparency, I ran one box of this Rio game load, which is 2 3/4. It's 1 1/8 ounce load with 7-shot, and it runs at 1280. It's damn near full strength or full power ammunition. It's high brass. It did not like, and I don't know, I know it has to be the ammo because it was giving me all types of feeding issues and failures with this Federal Field and Target, which also is 1 1/8 ounce. Are these 3-inch shells? Oh no, I thought these were 3-inch shells. These are 2 3/4-inch shells with 3 grams of energy. But ounce and an eighth, 7.5 shot, 1,200 feet per second. Didn't like it. Gave me a whole bunch of issues. I'm assuming a lot of those issues were because the bolt wasn't fully cycling, failure to extract, failure to rejects, failure to feeds. In fact, because the action wasn't working correctly, it would like dump 2 rounds in and double feed and everything. The second I stopped running it and started running the higher power load stuff, ran flawless. But we're going to try that and test that again. And just to throw a little bit of a mix in it, I did run to Cabela's, even though I could probably get it cheaper. And I bought a box of herders. We had this on the Chinese gun. Didn't really like it, but this one is a little bit faster than 1,200 feet per second. Still 7 shot, 1/8 ounce, 2 3/4, but this one runs at 1255. So if the 1,200 feet per second stuff didn't run for me, and hopefully this video is recording because I got a shit ton of shooting going on over here, I'm hoping that the 1255 will run. So just because I want to kind of give you a visual of what I'm going to get. Again, this is a brand new gun, so it's not broken in. They claim that you run a couple hundred rounds through a Turkish shotgun and then we'll start to lighten up. I think that actually was happening because by the time I got to the end of running the 1,300 feet per second stuff, I know the 1280 feet per second stuff, I went back and ran like those last two 1,200 feet per second rounds from the Federal, and they both cycled. So maybe the gun was getting broken in, but we're going to try it again today. We're going to shoot us with steel, see what it runs. I'm going to run probably like 5 rounds of each of this, and I got everything from a 1,200, 1255, 1280, and then a 1325 buckshot. So a decent range of ammunition. Everything else is birdshot. This is the only buckshot that I have to run. So with that said, without further ado, I always like to have the gun, and I know the sun's gonna be in your face, but I always like to have the gun. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it this way because I like to show you guys the ejection of the rounds because I want you to be able to see that, because I want you to see that it's either it's running them good and they're throwing them out, or it's just running them light and they're just dropping to the ground. So I'll just have to point that out to you. Oh yeah, sorry, forgot some features to mention. This gun claims to have a dual piston system. You probably can't see it. I don't know what it actually does, so I'm gonna have to go look into it and figure it out. There's no instructions. There's nothing about it in the instruction manual other than how to take the gun apart. It has a dual piston system. So in front of the gas port, there's a little piston that has like a, I don't know, like a little locking ring on it. That's the first piston. It's got a nice big heavy spring in it. And then you have the piston that runs the action, which is behind the gas port. And I didn't take it apart to see how long that spring was, but this gun is rated for a 3-inch shell. So it's probably way oversprung for what I would tend to use it for. And if it doesn't run reliably, like I told you in my previous videos, all I do is cut the springs back so that I can run high velocity 2 3/4-inch shells of about 1,300 feet per second. A lot of you guys are like, well, will it break the gun? No, because the gun is sprung for a 3-inch shell. So I'm just lowering that so that it now will run a 2 3/4 of 1,300 feet per second. And I never run 3-inch shells. I don't know why anybody would want a 3-inch shell on a self-defense shotgun, but I don't do it, so it won't hurt the gun. All right, so let's get some rounds in this thing and see how it works. We're gonna start off with let's go with the Federals again. Shit, I'm not even in frame no more. I'm gonna have to move this camera around. Let's go with the Federals again, because the Federals were the ones I told you would not run. They would not run reliably, and I want to see whether or not, you know, after running it for 50 rounds of this and then other stuff, whether or not it actually fixed the gun. And I'm not going to run it with the full 8 rounds. I'm just going to run 5 and see how many failures I get out of the 5. All right, so here we go. All right, 5 in. Like I said, all you got to do is pull it once and it's ready to go. I want to get those targets in there now, so I'm going to go about here so you can see them. And then I'm probably going to step out here. Let's see if I step out here, would it be better? All right, let's do that. All right, so now you can see the ejection. All right, here we go. One round in. We're going to aim at the low target. Oh, safety's on. Here we go. All right. Ran 3 reliably, and this was the feeding issue that I was getting. And I got to go in there and fish it out. So give me a second. Let me fish that out. We got 3 out of the 5. And normally if I just finagle it, it thinks the gun is empty because it didn't run it all the way out. There you go. There you go. Now it's back in. Let's get those last 2 out of there. Try to run them fast. And these things kick too. All right, gun is empty. I thought I put 5 in. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that error or issue happens whenever I run these rounds. Let's step it up to the next one. We're going to go with, let's see what we're going to go with next. We're going to go with the 1255s. Like I said, I think it's either the ammo. It doesn't like that short brass. or just it doesn't like the velocity of the ammo. So we're going to step up to a 1255 birdshot. And I do have 5 Herters, 1255 feet per second, 7 shot loads. All right, here we go. All right. I short racked that, and that's why I didn't take a load in. Here we go. Nope, did not spit it out. And I had issues with these Herters on the original Chinese gun too, so didn't spit it out. And these are 1255s. That's why I was like kind of shocked. Did I mess my mic up? Oh no, my mic's still on. Okay, here we go. Nope, it won't run them. Stovepipe. There's one. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, the low brass, it doesn't like the low brass or the gun's not broken in. So 5, 2 failures. And this motherfucker kicks like a mule with them 1255s. Been beating my shoulder up with these shotguns, man. My shoulder's been hurting because I've just been running shotguns for like the last couple weekends. All right, here we go. 1,280 feet per second. Rio bird load or game loads. Ready. Go. Oh, let me get into it because this shit kicks. Nope. 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 Did not run it. It's locking it up. All right, let's see. All right, I had to yank it out of there. It might be some kind of burr or something on the actual feed of the magazine tube because it's catching it. And I thought it was the ammo, but here we go. Oh, safety on. Do it again. All right, so 5, 1 failure. Similar failures. Definitely a feeding issue. So we're gonna take this gun apart, check all the components, check the feed tube, check the lift gate, see if there's any burrs on it, and then I want to follow back up with you on the reliability of this gun. But other than the reliability issues that you're seeing so far, it looks like a quality built gun. It does not have a very soft butt plate on it though. This thing kicks. See the magazine, the mic is still on. This thing hits. It's hard. So maybe I can figure out how to switch this out. They did say that these butt stocks are replaceable with Remington, or no, Mossberg 590s, 500 and 590 accessories. So that's an easy swap out. But other than that, that's it for this test. I'll get back to you soon on the, let's get the thumbnail. Let's get a thumbnail on there. On the Tokarev TT12 Titan shotgun. Later.
Gunman, baby.